Okay, one more. That is just going to have to be a very, very short one because I don't know what happened. Maybe I started over because I thought I had it timed perfectly. But I think one more, and then by that time, my dinner, you guys think all this woman does is eat. But no, because I usually start my videos about 3-ish in the afternoon. So by the time I, you know, do, 5, 20 minutes. And then, it gets to be about this time. So it gets to be about five something, 6-ish. So it's always time for me to eat my dinner. Where was I? Oh, I was actually, I think this one might be the Facebook one. I was talking about themes, and I talked about the weather. And that's one of my themes because I'm really a weather person. I love winter. I love winter time. Long as I'm warm and dry. I don't like getting caught out without, proper clothes on. I hate getting wet, when I don't have my umbrella, don't have my hat, or don't have my trench coat on. I hate that. But as long as I'm coming home, I'm fine. So I think this might be the last one I'm thinking because um, after I eat, I'm probably just gonna upload and that's gonna be it. Um, Themes about my women. Um, One of my medieval stories, no, as a matter of fact, both of them, she's a kind of herbist, a healer. She knows that kind of thing. In Autumn, she's a bit of a healer. She knows, about herbs and these kind of things. I always want my women to be smart, but I don't. In my nightclub, Parisian nightclub girl, of course, she's very savvy, and she's probably the more um formally educated of all of my female characters. Except maybe in one of the short stories I think I told you guys about, she's actually is a teacher, she's a tutor. Um, I also make them very smart. I also make them very pretty because I'm so pretty. And I think I make them very I deliberately not made them very, very nice. I give them a little edge. So they're real women. Let's put it that way. They're real women. I remember my my writing partner once, I told you guys this before probably. Um, we were talking about my main character in Autumn, and he goes, I used to really like her, but she's a bitch. But now I know more about her, she's a bitch, which really made me laugh, and which really made me pat myself on the back because I thought you got it. I deliberately made her materialistic sometime and spoiled sometime and very class conscious um sometimes and prejudiced to a point. I mean, because when the arch villain comes, after her and all this stuff, when he kidnaps her and stuff, one of her first thoughts are, what the devil? I mean, how dare he? He's a field hand, he's a slave, what business does he have, you know, um, you know, calling himself making me pay for something, she because of the way she's been raised. The same thing with the my character, my performer in the new book. She's completely stuck on herself. But like a lot of and I don't like a lot of morals and crazy stuff. You know, in Autumn she changes because she constantly changes because when he rides out in the first part of the book, when he rides out after the outlaws, the first set of outlaws, her husband rides out, with these with the men, and that kind of frightens her into realizing that you know um it's dangerous here. So far she's just been sheltered, and nothing really bad has happened, since she's gotten there. And of course, she's unaware of the danger heading for her, You know, there's a female villain heading for her. There's a male, villain that's followed her all the way from Georgia. And of course, she's not aware of anything, any of this stuff. But when he rides out, when her husband rides out, after the first set of outlaws, um, that kind of puts a kind of matures her a little bit. Then when the first outlaws are, hung because of the stuff that they did, that kind of puts a, kind of you know skids her to a halt as to what's going on after she's actually kidnapped and that kind of thing is going on. She actually um I remember writing that she looks at her children differently. She looks at the sunshine coming through her kitchen window differently. That she pays attention to every little nuance of her life. Of every little like this morning I heard that Suge Knight, he's a big promoter, big, was in prison. Um, on a $3 million bond or something for murder or something. And I remember being in my kitchen and making my smoothie or whatever I was doing while I was listening to the news. And I remember thinking, wow, he's got all that money and I'm free. I mean, I'm standing here doing what I want. I'm making a smoothie. I'm going to take my vitamins. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And my day is my own. And what he wouldn't give for his day to be, he can probably get out on that bail. I'm sure that's pockets change, that kind of thing. But you appreciate more once you've lost your freedom, or once you've been in jeopardy of losing your freedom. You don't there are things you don't, just like when you're sick, when you have a cold or something, and like the cold runs the gamut, and then you feel better. Finally one day you feel better and you're like, oh my gosh, I take for granted that I feel, when I was feeling well, I took it for granted. It's the same thing with my character in Autumn. Um she takes for granted that she has this easy life, and that that she's kind of protective. And my character in the new book, she's an entertainer. She's adored by all of Paris, and actually, because the club is closed for a while because they have to be investigated by the Gestapo, and all this stuff is going on. These people are crawling around, and but the thing about it is they still deal with the black market. They're still in the resistance, and a lot of these things are kind of foist, upon her, and she deals with them. She deals with them. She deals with them, and becomes. I don't want to be like a morals person, but she does become more aware of things. Of what freedom means, what it means that these people have occupied her country, and now she lives in danger. She's separated from her child, and all this kind of stuff. Her Jewish lover is gone off somewhere, and she doesn't know where he's at. Because I decided to change it. I had the first part of the book of him, actually, her getting this note from him. I think I told you guys about it, that, oh yeah, the camp is wonderful, but the camp's awful, but we work really hard. It's hard work, but it's a nice place. We have plenty of food, and, a nice bed to lay in. Thanks for taking care of the animals for me. And when we get out of here, I hope you can watch them a little while longer, because I'm going to visit my uncle Gustav, or whatever it is. And that is when she realizes that they're in a lot of danger, because she knows that this relative he's mentioned is deceased. So that's when. So I decided I couldn't justify her going with the German officer if she knows I mean, but of course, because she's in the resistance, she knows a little more of what's going on. I couldn't see her getting a letter like that from her lover, somebody she really loved, saying something like, and then carrying on with him. I can't see that. So I'm going to move that to further down, further down. I might even have him, if I can remember, while he's at the camp writing this note, realizing what's going on, because when they got to the camp, they made them write postcards to their friends and family back home and say, "Oh, everything's fine, la la la, we got here, it's safe," so that they wouldn't be afraid to come, you know. So, and then by the time probably um, the postcards got wherever they were going, the people were dead, you know. So I thought, I got to move that. I'm going to move that further along in the book. Um, as far as the shortages are concerned in Paris at that time, in France, in all of Europe at that time, she's kind of touched by them, but then she's not. She still has makeup. She still has lipstick. She still has nylon. She still has the things, perfume. She still has the things most women at that time don't have. But the reason she can get away with it is that she is a performer. I mean, it's kind of like it is nowadays. It's okay for a black rich to be an athlete. That's fine. A black athlete being rich, that's fine. That's fine. That's not intimidating to whites. Or entertainers. That's just powerful. Of course, that they can sing and dance. So it's okay if one of them is rich. But I find that intellectuals aren't accepted, not and entrepreneurs are not, readily accepted as they're blacks. So um that's kind of what's going on in this book, is that by her being an entertainer, um kind of famous, certain things are overlooked. That's what I'm trying to get at. Certain things are overlooked. Also, I gave her a little edge because, oh, come on, what, she's having an affair with a married man, come on. And she has a baby by him. And but also too, when the wife and the husband are going to the camp, the wife leaves her children, with her husband's mistress. And I thought that that would be a really poignant thing for her to do, because it's like she realizes that they're going to a very dangerous place and that she isn't sure what's going on. And the final, I mean, I can't imagine doing that. I can't imagine when my son was little leaving him with somebody, if I had been married, that my husband was cheating on me with. I can't for any reason see anyone doing that, except for the fact that she assumes that she's going to be in danger. That's why I changed it, because at first I had them not be transported. I had them, well, what had happened was I had them get a really to uh cryptic note from one of their relatives that was at the camp, along the same lines, where we're going to see Uncle so and so soon, or whatever, and then they go to Poland. The husband and the wife go to Poland to find out what's going on, and they end up in the Warsaw Ghetto, and that's how they end up going to the camp. But I changed it after I um, found out a little bit more about the history of what was going on in with the um, occupation, that they were they that French Jews were transported. As far as the Vichy government was concerned, French uh, Jews were actually transported straight east. I wasn't aware of that. So that's why I went and I changed that. And I always try to make my characters, um, my women characters, because sometimes in romance novels they're just too perfect. They're just too sweet. They're just too nice. And if you're a creative person like my character, my um Parisian entertainer, she couldn't be sweet like that. All these things have happened to her. She's separated from her parents. They're in England. She didn't get out of Paris. She wasn't going to leave Paris, no matter who was coming. She wasn't leaving, you know. And she has a little girl, and she's trying to protect her daughter. Um, she's had this man, her lover, go away, leave and go away, and she has an idea that, well, even if she doesn't get the postcard yet, she still has the idea something's not right. Something, wherever these people are going, it's not, because what they thought, they were going to resettlement. In Theresienstadt, they thought they were going to the older people thought they were going to a retirement home. So they were going to turn over all their worldly goods that they had, and they were going to start anew in this place. And that's why they always had them take their jewelry, bring your money, bring, what, whatever, because you're going to be resettled. And the older people thought that they were going to have this hold place to retire. That's what they thought was going on. And of course, they got there, and they 100 of them were in an attic. They found out, but Theresienstadt was a camp that they fixed up to show the Red Cross. They just hid everybody away, and then they painted and put out flowers, and took down took down the signs that said Jews don't sit on the bench or whatever. So a lot of people really didn't know what was going on. So, but I think, yeah, and all this stuff is going on. And so my main character, and then on top of that, this man, she is so, this charming man she met, in Switzerland, and they've been corresponding all this time. And she's really, and actually her shock is not so much she's terrified of him, because he's, as she is, but she just thought, this is it. This is it. I'm gonna have my very own man. He's gonna be mine. And she had this romantic notion going on, and he walks in, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, this is not how I thought, it was gonna turn out to be." So that's why and some of the things she has to do, and likewise the wife in the camp. She, as it's always been a spoiled, rich, woman, married to this fascinating, musician, composer, teacher, maestro kind of man. She's always had, a very easy, her family's rich, she always had a very easy life. And all of a sudden, she's in this awful situation where she has to steal and, do things that she, would never ever dream of doing just to survive. I mean, it's down to survival. And that's also what I was saying about the husband and the wife. It's real love, because they need each other to actually survive. And that's why I'm not sure if they survive, who survives, what's going on. But I don't know. So I'm looking at the clock on the wall, like Bozo the Clown used to say. And I'm gonna have my dinner, and then I'm going to, well, first I'm going to take this wall paint off my face, and then I'm going to paint my nails. I have new nail polish. It's actually Milani nail polish, and I have Milani eyeshadow on, and I actually got them from the like the dollar store or something, one of those cheapo little stores. I couldn't believe it was actually Milani stuff in there, but I think it's probably because it's weird colors and stuff. So anyway, I gotta go. There goes my oven. It's time for dinner. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.